Thank you very much. I'm Adrian Wyllie, Libertarian candidate for governor of Florida. And as of this morning, at least, I am the only gubernatorial candidate that is qualified for the ballot. I'm kind of hoping that Rick Scott and Charlie Crist forget to fill out their paperwork, make it a lot easier for all of us, actually. But I believe it's appropriate that we're here on the anniversary of D-Day, the invasion of Normandy during World War II. While I don't want to compare the sacrifice that those brave men made to liberate France to our struggle, there are some tactics, some strategies, and a few parallels that we can draw from that using history as our guide. I've got some very good news, though. Amendment 2 is going to pass. It is going to pass overwhelmingly. That one we can count on. I've seen polls as high as 88% support of it. The talk inside the Tallahassee Beltway, if you will, is that this is a done deal. But I've also got some bad news. Much like the Germans during World War II, the legislators, the bureaucrats, the departments know that this invasion is coming. They know that Amendment 2 is going to pass. Now, what we have to do is make sure that we don't allow them to prepare their defenses properly. Charlotte's Web, I know a lot of you may have supported that bill, but you really have to understand how these legislators operate, how these legislators think, how the people in our government operate. And they operate through a lot of deception. Now, on the surface, it seems like that was a pretty good bill. Not great, but a step in the right direction at least. It allowed for, cannabis that had less than 3% or 0.3% or less THC and 10% CBD to be used medicinally. Here's the problem. What they're doing is a defensive play against Amendment 2. They are setting up the infrastructure so that when Amendment 2 does pass, that there's only 5 companies in the entire state of Florida, 5 tree farms, nurseries, what have you, that are allowed to produce it. And they're going to stick by that. And they're also setting up the groundwork for who is declared as having a debilitating disease. It's great for Kathy, and Kathy, it's so great to see you here. You're looking great. But what about for the people who suffer anxiety? And, marijuana helps them in that. What about the people who, have various different eating disorders, for example, that this may help them with? Are those going to be considered debilitating diseases? I doubt it. One thing I can guarantee you, with those 5 licenses that they're going to grant under Charlotte's Web, you've got legislators right now scrambling to set up blind trusts to invest in them. That happens all the time in Tallahassee. Kind of like Rick Scott pushing for drug testing of all state employees. Well, his wife happens to own one of the largest drug testing companies in Florida. Coincidence? Exactly. So what do we do? Well, I look at this as having 3 fronts. We have hemp, we have medicinal, and then we have full legalization, which I support. I support Amendment 2, but full legalization is the way to go. People should have the right to make their own decisions what they put into their own bodies. Now, we can't do it if we allow them to build those defenses, if we allow them to go through the standard route, through the deception. I tell you, anytime in Tallahassee, you see a controversial issue passing overwhelmingly with bipartisan support, run for the hills, because it's bad news. I've done a lot of lobbying in Tallahassee, volunteer lobbyists, unpaid, working for the Libertarian Party of Florida. I did lobby for the Kathy Jordan Act, but when you see that happening, it's a dangerous thing, and that's exactly what we've got going on right now. So on the 3 fronts, first front is hemp. Hemp can be legal in the state of Florida right now, because all the Attorney General of the state of Florida has to do is to take it off the controlled substance list. They have the authority under Florida statute to do that. We could have industrial hemp right now. Pam Bondi's not going to do it. However, Libertarian candidate for Attorney General Bill Walsifer will. In fact, he's promised to make that one of his first acts if elected. Now, the second front is medical. Medical, we're going to win the battle. We are absolutely going to win it, but we have to be careful that we don't lose the war. We have to make sure that we have that game plan to get around it. And with the current legislators we have, with the current governor, even with Charlie Crist, it's ironic that Charlie Crist had this great revelation, and now he sees the beauty of medicinal marijuana after being nicknamed Chain Gang Charlie. Just 4 years ago, he signed, a little over 4 years ago, he signed some of the toughest anti-marijuana legislation in the nation as governor of the state of Florida. So are you telling me this guy had an epiphany, a revelation, a change of heart? No, he's just going which way the wind blows. And when the rubber hits the road, he's not going to be acting in your benefit. He just wants that political cover. So what we need to do is we need to elect people who actually understand that this is a freedom issue. This is a liberty issue. This is an issue that government does not have the authority to decide for you what medicines are right, to decide for your kids what medicines are right, to decide what you do in your spare time, recreationally. As long as you're not harming anyone else, you should be free to do that. And that's what libertarians believe. Now, thank you. If elected governor, I have a couple of different powers, and this is the reason that I ran for governor. I know that I am going to get a ton of opposition from the state legislature. They're not going to want to do any of this, but the governor has two unique powers. They have the power of the veto and the power of the pardon. Now, even if I can't get a bill completely legalizing all forms of cannabis through the state legislature, there is something I can do, and this is something I promise to do. That is to pardon every single non-violent person convicted of marijuana possession. If we do that, it doesn't matter what the laws say. We will have essentially nullified the laws. And after a while, the state's attorney is going to get real tired of prosecuting people for possession when, the governor's just going to pardon them. That's exactly what we need to do. So that's our play. We need to go back to the DJ analogy, we need to let the Germans build their defenses at Calais. We need to attack at Normandy. And that's the way we're going to do it. And it's going to be through the Libertarian Party of Florida platform. And it's going to be through me as governor of Florida, Bill Wolsifer for Attorney General, because that's a 1-2 punch that is going to restore your economic freedom and individual liberty in Florida. Thank you very much.